Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And we have with us again Gidi Adlersberg, head of the VOCA Business Line at AudioCodes. Gidi, thank you for joining me today.
Always a pleasure, Doug. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to have another conversation in a series of conversations that we've been having about conversational AI and how it plays into the customer calling experience. We're going to be talking about some real-world experiences at the enterprise level and how AI is actually being used in practice, and how AudioCodes is doing some new and interesting things with this product differentiation. And we're actually going to talk about how the channel partners and the MSPs can actually monetize AI and improve the experience for their customers, ultimately for the customers as well, the actual customers. So Gidi, thank you very much for joining me today. First of all, what is AudioCodes?
Yeah, Doug. So we've been talking between us on how there's probably a fair share of your audience that already knows us, but for the sake of current recap of who we are and what we do, we are a voice company that does everything from connectivity to AI. So many enterprises, service providers, channel partners have been working with us more on the, let's call it, voice infrastructure side. So, session border controllers and other products that we use to just do enterprise voice really well. But then, of course, there's the newer generation of voice AI solutions, VOCA CIC being just one of them that we are building as a company. I always like to talk about two key motions that kind of make the foundation for who we are today. One being a very long time investment and focus on the Microsoft ecosystem. Okay, so fun fact about us, we've been placing our bets on the Microsoft ecosystem already back in the kind of 2007-8 days, right? Microsoft OCS days, later becoming Link, becoming Skype for Business, and today Microsoft Teams. So, just a lot of experience and expertise that we accumulated in the Microsoft space. Quite interestingly today, while we remain experts in the Microsoft ecosystem, we're also investing quite a lot on the Cisco and Zoom ecosystems as well. So still evolving in that area of connectivity. But then a second motion, which is also very interesting to talk about, is conversational AI. So here's another fun fact about AudioCodes. We've made our first acquisition of conversational AI technology back in 2005. Okay, so I'm talking about days where voice recognition was still experimental. Many people doubted, can we actually get it to a level that it actually works? But we're very proud to say that already back then, we kind of we saw the potential of this technology, the impact that it's going to make on enterprise voice in general, not only enterprise. Maybe we'll get to that as well. So these two motions, long time focus on Microsoft ecosystem, long time focus in conversational AI technologies, is pretty much makes the foundation for what VOCA CIC is today. So yeah, very excited to dive in there and talk more about it.
And does this key into, we were just talking before we started our podcast, there's a lot of companies, you said something to the effect, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of chatter. We all go to these events and almost everyone's saying the same thing. Every session's almost the same, right? No matter what the topic is.
AI, and more AI, right?
AI, right?
Yeah.
So with all that, how are you differentiating yourself?
So I'll say that differentiation really became my passion lately. It has always been a passion, but even more so in the last, ever since generative AI came, completely shuffled the cards in the industry, and also really compressed differentiation. Because, if a few years ago a feature table would have revealed differences between different vendors or different offerings, today a feature table, comparison will get you absolutely nowhere. Technologies are readily available on the cloud. What's not available or what's not built can be very easily built today, a lot more easily using AI. And so there's no point talking about features. There's no point. I mean, people are saying AI, but and obviously put it in the front, but let's be honest, every buyer these days expects a vendor to be leveraging AI in some form or fashion. So yeah, that makes differentiation really interesting. Now, when we go to okay, who are we in this market? What's our identity? What's our backbone? What are the things that, above the feature table make us unique? I like to think about things that go beyond the feature table, that are more experience related. Okay, so how do you differentiate with things that are more to do with the experience around, in and out of the product, rather than directly from the product itself? And I'm happy to give a few examples there, but wondering what's your take on that approach to differentiation.
Well, I'm very curious. You've mentioned the feature table, which that's a good way of putting it. It's the long list of things we do. Yeah. How is AudioCodes standing out in that world?
Okay, so a few things that make us, above the feature table, more unique. The first one, which I think is not being talked enough at all, especially when it comes to customer experience and contact center, is stability, uptime, and reliability. Okay, I mean, with all respect to AI and with all respect to all the shiny features related to AI or not, the platform needs to be up. And I think vendors are not talking enough about what they do to ensure they have a stable working solution that stays up, right? When it comes to our solution, there are two key kind of ingredients that make our solution highly resilient and highly reliable. First is just in how we integrate with Microsoft Teams. So if other vendors will connect to Microsoft Teams phone, the media layer of Microsoft Teams, over SIP or over Graph API, which have their challenges, which we won't get into today because it's not a technical session. We took an approach where we are relying on a Microsoft native SDK that gives us the connection to Teams phone. And in simple words, that means that in the heart of our agent and supervisor application resides that Microsoft native SDK that makes our calls act exactly like any other Microsoft Teams call or meeting. The way that our marketing team likes to say it, the calls start, stay, and end in Microsoft Teams. There is no in and out of the Microsoft ecosystem to make a call happen. So that already gives us a strong foundation for keeping things up and reliable when it comes to the mainstream CCaaS offering. Then, quite uniquely, on top of that, we are one of the only vendors in the industry that will offer a customer the option to purchase an on-premise add-on that ensures survivability of the contact center, even when the cloud goes down, or even worse, when internet goes down. Okay, so what we do, we have, let's call it a more compact version of VOCA that we know how to deploy on-prem. And basically, based on our session border controller technology, we would know when the primary CCaaS, the cloud contact center, has an outage, and we would just automatically route calls to the on-prem instance of VOCA. So that's something very unique that we do that really, I mean, business outcome wise, just ensuring true 100% uptime. And it's a strong statement these days, right? To say that you can ensure 100% uptime for the contact center agents, but that's actually what we do with that solution. So just to recap on reliability, it's kind of that, strong foundation when it comes to the mainstream cloud deployment, but then also, a strong leg that can reside on premise and ensure that 100% uptime that some contact centers really need. Like for some contact centers, even a few minutes of downtime can be devastating.
Right.
Yeah. So sounds like you have some thoughts on that, Doug?
No. I keep on going. You're on a tear. So you have the stability, the type Microsoft integration. That's very interesting that you've brought something I haven't heard anything about Prem for a while. Right.
Exactly.
You have this, right.
Exactly. So again, it's like, trying to come with a cohesive strategy for like, okay, how do we keep a contact center up? So that's reliability. Another area that is maybe talked about just a bit more, but also to my taste, not enough, is delivery. Okay, so actually when we look at just industry surveys and reports, especially with the rise of AI and how easy it is for a new vendor to come into the industry, it's one thing to build a strong product. It's a completely different thing to implement it well and to be able to support it on a day-to-day basis, right? Maybe somewhat disappointed with less mature offerings that, again, application-wise, they do a great job, but when it comes time to nail the implementation or get good level of support for that solution, things start to become a bit just a bit messy. And our answer to that is, while we definitely have channel partners that will deploy our solution for us, and we have official certification programs to make sure that we equip them with the right knowledge to be successful in that. We are also very proud to, the simple way that I like to say it, to take an ISV plus SI approach, meaning we are the software vendor, but we can also be our own delivery arm of that software. So fun fact about AudioCodes, today we are approximately 1,000 full-time employees worldwide. About a third of those are services engineers, right, that are spread globally. And that means, that when it comes to a VOCA implementation, those professional services teams have immediate access to our R&D and vice versa. So if implementation and support need an advice, R&D is a Teams message away or a phone call away. And if R&D wants to learn something about what's going on in the field, well, services are also just one phone call away. So it's that killer combination of like, we are the head chef of the software, but we're also the cook and the waiter, if you will, that is able to deliver that all the way down to the customer. And this allows us to be in a much better position in like just making sure things work, right? And things are implemented to the expectation of the buyer, right? So that's very important for us, making sure that we're set for good quality delivery, especially, I'm sure we'll cover AI soon, but, speaking of the 2026 AI reality, you got, it's kind of like AI pilot season, right? Many AI pilots are happening these days, and a lot of them fail, not because of the technology, not because of the actual solution, but just because it was poorly implemented. So we really try to put a lot of focus also on delivery. pausing here before, I would also like to cover differentiation around AI, but maybe, stopping to see if you have any thoughts.
Let's get into that, and I want to understand it, especially from the point of view of how this is actually trickling down to the actual customer experience, even employee experience.
Right. So, and we're still, you're talking in terms of the delivery, or are we switching to the AI topic? Just to
I want to sort of actually understand it from the point of view of two customers, really, because CX is thrown around. From the experience of the your partner's customer, so the enterprise that actually implements this and is using it, their experiences, their employee experiences. But what about the final customer, the actual person that calls into the contact center? How it impacts them, because ultimately it also trickles up, right? That if the customers are happy, the employees are happy, I imagine they want to buy more AudioCodes.
Absolutely. So I'll tell you what, when I think about, first of all, let's call it the discovery experience of a buyer, right? For us, it really starts with what for me is at least a killer combination of, first of all, let's allow any interested buyer to start a pilot or start a POC immediately. So if with other solutions, you need to call someone, you need to fill up a form, you need to schedule a POC setup session or whatever, you will not find that with us. With us, you will just get a link and you will be able to get started. Now, for us, that's just a starting point, because what will happen then is we will give you like kind of a supporting envelope of a customer success manager, of a technical subject matter expert that will work with you hand in hand to understand your expectations, to understand what you're actually looking to achieve, what are you using today, and just be able to ensure that that trial, that testing you're doing provides you with the clarity that you were looking for as a buyer, right? So that's really important to us, to make sure that we're helping our customers to not waste their time on if it's not for you, great, let's move on, and you can move on to look at something else. But if it is for you, we want you to learn that and find that out, sooner than later. Transitioning to the final customer, as you called it, the Gidi and the dogs who are calling the, whatever contact center. And that's a good segue actually to the AI topic. I'll tell you that one of the things that I'm starting to hear a lot about is how AI can be used as, let's call it, a more modern disguise to poor customer service. Let me explain what I mean. Before AI, you had contact centers that didn't really want you to get to a live agent, right? So what they did is they designed this super complex IVR menu and basically make it impossible for you to get a hold of a person. And in the IVR, they would tell you, we're here to provide you the best service experience possible, etc. But end of the day, as industry professionals, you and I would know really what they're trying to do is to prevent that calling customer from reaching a live agent.
Yes.
Quite interestingly, with AI, it's even easier to do and gets even worse because instead of hiding behind a press 1, press 2, press 3 system, you are now hiding behind a conversational AI experience that allegedly, hey, Doug, here's an AI that can assist you with everything you need. But maybe after 2 minutes of conversing, interacting with the AI, Doug will find that the AI actually cannot resolve what Doug needs. And Doug is going to ask to speak with a human agent. But we see too often that the AI will be like, I can connect you to a live agent, but did you try A, B, and C. So meaning just we see a lot of brands that took AI just as a more modern, shiny mask on top of their poor customer service, right? And switching to VOCA and how we want to empower our customers to not be like that. What we like to do is to keep our AI experiences extremely confined to very specific use cases. We like to call that concept practical AI. And really what we mean is, instead of coming to the market with like the God of AI promise, like here's an AI that can do everything you need, we're saying something different. We're saying, you're still on a touch-tone IVR or a keywords-based, legacy speech auto-attendant. Let's get you to use our AI receptionist offering, which will just automate, the kind of the front door. Basic things like call routing, questions and answers based on documents, websites, some appointment scheduling in the more complex cases, but that's it. That's where that offering ends. So we do not, try to say, oh, here's an AI solution that will do everything you need before connecting with an agent. No, we're saying here's a confined offering, AI receptionist from VOCA, that will just upgrade that, existing IVR or speech auto attendant you have. Then there's the post-call experience. So one interesting, let me give you another interesting fun fact. There's a Cavell survey, and that from, I think it was from just end of last year, end of 2025, that interviewed, they surveyed like thousands of contact center agents. And there was this insight that 55% of the agents in the contact center say that AI only added complexity to their work. And which sounds like crazy, right? I mean, we're bringing AI to save people's time, and the end result comes exactly the opposite. And when you dive into the details, you find that it's because the AI experience is not part of a natural existing workflow. It's a siloed experience, and sometimes it's not accurate enough. So you need the human to review it, and all these friction points just add more to the complexity and the time that's spent. And so for the post-call experience, we did an AI summary experience that we call Agent Insights. For me, I can speak to many things that we got going on there, but really the coolest bit is we have a one button that says end call and send to CRM. And, for me, that's it. That's the magic moment in an agent workflow where the agent doesn't need to guess or hope that this will save time. By design, it's designed to be part of an existing workflow, of part of the existing wrap-up experience. And, by hitting that button, all these insights, the summary, sentiment, transcription, whatever, gets sent to the CRM in one click, and the agent moves to the next call. So there's no guessing of like, are we saving time here or not? Yes, we're definitely saving time by doing that. So that's what I really mean when I talk about practical AI. I'm talking about experiences that are confined, consistent, and predictable. And then it just helps to build trust with the buyers out there that are really super confused with all the different AI offerings that are going on.
As we wrap up our podcast today, can you maybe share one actual real world example? You don't have to give us names or anything, but you and your partner came and transitioned a company a little bit using VOCA, using AI, and changed the employee experiences there, and also ultimately the efficiency with which they work with the customers.
Yeah, so Doug, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to substantiate all this theory into
Yeah,
something,
real
real.
world. Yeah.
So here's, I'll give you an example that's actually public. We did a press release about it just a few months ago. The end customer name we cannot mention, but I can ensure you and all other American audience that you all know this brand. It's one of the largest healthcare insurance providers in the States. And we've been collaborating with Atento, who's a top 5 global BPO, to completely redesign and upgrade their call routing experience of that healthcare provider. And the reason why I really like this example is how it came to us. And let me give you a bit of juice there. Basically, some partner came to us and said, this healthcare provider has been trying to modernize their IVR for more than 6 months now. They've been dealing with, I won't disclose the competitor name, of course, it's not what we like to do, but they've been dealing with one of the premium CX vendors, that everyone knows. And they couldn't get a project up and running, and they felt stuck. And they had some operational timeline dependency. And I still remember that day when they call us, we got a call from the partner one day, and they were like, can you do, here's the flow, here's the high levels of it. Are you guys able to do this in less than a month? So there was a bit of a silence in the room for a few seconds, or maybe on the remote call, right? The virtual room. But, we said, we do have a lot of experience in this. Remember how we started this talk, Doug, right? So we've been doing conversational AI, conversational IVR, AI voice agents, they call it these days. We've been doing that for a long, long time. And we got back to them a few hours later and said, you know what? We sat with the product team, we sat with the design team, we sat with the delivery team. We can do it. And 3 weeks later, we have a virtual, AI voice agent deployment for 500 concurrent AI agent sessions that is up and running in that healthcare provider. So I think why I like this example a lot is it's down to earth in terms of what we're doing there, which is just, greeting a caller with, conversational generative AI technologies, understanding what they need, getting them to where they need. So very straightforward in terms of what we do, but also speaks to our experience and capabilities when it comes to delivering it well and quickly, and kind of, we got this kind of message.
As I've been listening to this podcast today, I'm struck by you are talking about AI, but it has become kind of for you guys a tool, because actually what you've been talking about is process, infrastructure, procedure, policy, and so on. In other words, you've been actually talking more about the human things and the decision making, and also the presence and so on. Then tool AI is not inconsequential, but AI seems to be for AudioCodes deployed as a specific targeted tool, not just as a cure-all in lieu of something else.
I love this insight, Doug, because it's actually the case. And maybe it's a nice outro for the show.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, sports gurus. It may sound off topic, but it's not. Kobe Bryant.
Right.
And one of Kobe's number one mottos in sports was, I never get bored with the basics. That's what he kept saying. I never get bored with the basics. And I think that's us. So do we do a lot with AI? Absolutely. Do we offer it? Do we have an easy way to get going with it? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that we skip basics like reliability, delivery, good operations, good level of support, that will always be, a priority for us, with all the respect to new technologies that make their way in the space. So that's a
And
great, yeah.
No, it seems like a great place to stop, but also it's a very interesting comment, because, and it's sort of a mentality that I'm hearing here. I'm thinking also about, as a person that has experienced some of those calls that you're talking about to a healthcare provider or an airline or a bank, that's sort of very weird. And yes, if you're in this industry, you know exactly what they're doing, right? They're attempting to basically get you to an off ramp where you never actually talk to an agent, even though the recording says we hope to talk to you, but of course they don't, right?
Exactly.
That behavior in play, you can't directly cure that behavior, but it sounds like you guys are step by step fixing the issues that maybe that customer has to where they actually are free enough to actually take the phone calls that they need to take.
Exactly. Let's empower them to be confident in being able to provide good service. That's all we're really trying to do there. So,
all right. Well, there it is, the AudioCodes difference. We're continuing to report on what VOCA means to the market and what VOCA actually ultimately means to CX and EX. Gidi, thank you very much for joining me today. This is very interesting. There's so much to talk about, but
yeah.
For now, where can we learn more about AudioCodes?
So my favorite way is, we've been around for quite some time. So I always like to say everyone has an AudioCodes friend out there somewhere. Reach out to your AudioCodes friend to if you want to learn more about anything we talked about here. And then there's the good old, go to our website, use AI to learn about us. But more than everything, if you have an AudioCodes friend to speak to, that would be the best thing you can do.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed. I know we're going to be talking again soon, but for now, thank you.
Looking forward to it, Doug, and I appreciate this. Thank you.